So that
Okay.
works for me.
Thanks.
It is Friday. I'm sure other people have got things to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to juggle the last
Yeah,
second.
you're going on vacation, aren't you? After this weekend?
I'm taking leave time. I'm not
Yeah,
really going anywhere. Well, I
yeah,
got an overnighter bike ride up to uh, George Washington National Forest.
yeah.
So I'll go knock around up there a couple of days while Callie's busy at work finishing out the school year. Stay out of her hair. But no, I'm trying to make arrangements for a Rotary service project next week as well. And the company I've got to get some stuff to closes at 5 o'clock today. And
Oh
it's like,
God.
so yeah, it's all going to work out. It's all fine. They're expecting me and everything like that. But it's like nothing seems to happen unless it happens the last second. So have you talked any more to Lisa? Abby, Lisa, who's our former board chair, I'm pretty sure you interfaced with her um, before. She's been struggling with some health issues, so had to
Hmm.
cancel some travel and decided not to participate in this board meeting. This, which of course would be her last one as chair,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
just FYI.
Okay.
So,
No, I have not talked to her. I was trying to
okay.
think, what I could do to help her. I just don't think there is anything. I mean,
No,
yeah.
it's tough too since she bought that house that is so far from everyone.
But
Um,
I think she's probably staying with. She's got her part. She has a new partner that lives out here and lives in the western part of Goochland.
okay.
So, at least that's what she said. He's out on the far western side of the county. This is
Well,
a
as long
pretty
as she has
big
that
county.
social support.
Yeah. So, I would guess that her child that was out of school in Colorado would be back by now. So,
Yeah, it's about that time.
yeah, it is. Yeah. So,
All right. Well, Mark, I got
yep.
5 minutes into the
Yeah, I
meeting.
think I think we can start, and I don't think we have a whole lot of things we have to vote on. So,
Well,
call the meeting to order, and thank you for those who are attending. Can we actually vote on the approval of minutes? I guess we cannot. So
no,
the minutes have been provided, and we'll uh, we'll put those away until the next meeting.
right.
Um, so from my perspective, the key items to talk about are the board retreat, which will occur in conjunction with an abbreviated version of a trustees meeting on in our August session, and we'll be doing that offsite in Danville with an outside assistance, a moderator or stimulator or all those things that will help us to be more creative and more strategic in our thinking and set our next 5 year plan in place. So I think that's we'll talk more about that at the meeting, obviously. Joe and Marcus had provided us all with an updated code of ethics. And so I presume that will, not presume, I know that will be voted upon at tomorrow's meeting. Joe, I just sent you some ideas of that. The only thing that really that struck me was that there was nothing about DEIA in there, and I just thought that I sent you a
Yes.
page today. Yeah. So I don't know whether that's something that we want as, I think of ethics, I think of those as being behaviors and so I think our intention in the state's code also sort of fall in line there. So I don't know if we want to include that or not, but I just wanted to put that out there for thought.
I think we're in agreement. Marcus is either already sent it out or is working on it right now.
Okay.
So that will go out so we can cover those changes in the
Right.
morning.
All right, that's good. Yeah, the
Okay.
only other change I had was really just taking some stuff right out of the charter
Yep.
and throwing it in. But that's, I was more. Plus, you guys put me in charge of looking after the DEIA stuff, so I have to advocate on behalf of it.
There you go.
All right, good. Um, the treasurer's report is in the documents that have been provided for the board for the meeting tomorrow. So I did not have any questions on that yet because I was going to go through that this afternoon and make my notes on it. So I wish I'd done it beforehand, but I didn't. And so Cord couldn't answer those questions anyway because he's not here. So I'm going to, at least from my side, put together my questions on that. Lisa's usually pretty involved in asking a lot of questions there, and so I want to make sure I at least speak to what would be her normal course of action. Um, in terms of the proposed budget, same thing. I'm going through both of those this afternoon, so I don't have any further comments. I mean, Joe, is there anything in particular that you felt was controversial in either of those two documents?
Now, if you may remember when we showed the draft of it at last
Yep.
board meeting, there was
Right.
the main question came from the projection of a 36% increase in our revenues through education programs. We're
Right.
still pretty confident because we know that people are lining up to receive those services. So it should fall in line. Um, so otherwise, it's fairly comparable to last year's budget. Again, a little bit of a tweak and increased revenues to coincide with what we're observing this year. And the other increases that we see in terms of expenses are going to be, they're going to coincide with things like the 3% state worker salary increase and a increase in VITA costs that the state is providing through our VITA budget. So, no, I don't think there's anything controversial or surprising there, but we'll be prepared to answer questions for anyone who's gone through it.
Okay, good. All right. Um, and I want to just sort of say when I looked through at least that initial document on the financials, um, really like this little pretty organizational chart. So
Yeah, yeah,
no, it's great because I mean you finally there's some faces with names I still don't have after a couple of years, but it's intimidating, Joe, as the top of the pyramid there. How many people you've got in this organization, and I think it's wonderful. I mean, it
yeah,
speaks why everything works, right? So,
yeah. It starts with the people.
uh-huh. All right, so I'll let you go ahead and take over in the next section.
Okay. So I will go through some more details, and so will Ryan through the advancement report and so forth. But the festival attendance and success went very well. So that's something Ryan will cover. But if you go to the advancement report, he's provided uh, uh, details on that festival model. Let me just get the exact page on his. Historical visitation, demographics. Yeah, so you can see that our on the first page of the advancement report, basically showing that we still haven't recovered uh, since the pandemic, but our revenues certainly have. So
Right.
and we still know that a lot of that visitation that's been reduced post pandemic coincides with the loss of school groups, and they are slowly coming back. And that kind of ties back to what we had said before about oh uh, the increase in the education revenues. So we're expecting to see a surge there. Overall, we don't have any concerns. We just had our reptile festival last month. That was very well attended. Revenues were excellent. So pretty much so far so good with all of that. Um, we wanted to call out the Thomas Jefferson Awards just because
Mhm.
that's a foundation related thing. So I'll go through that in the details. That it's a new model that we're using where we actually present the awards at pre-existing events. So Nancy Moncrief, we honored here in house. She didn't really want anything special. We honored Senator Emmett Hanger and the Center for Cold Waters Restoration at the Big River Festival in Waynesboro. And we honored with the Education Medal a local educator at our teacher appreciation event. There was probably about 150 people there. The superintendent was there,
Right.
and so it was a real nice event. Again, we're gonna have a VMNH Waynesboro branch campus report that you know, Tom will lead. He is going to attend tomorrow.
Okay, good.
We did find out, as I think you know, Mark, that we were approved to move from the the schematics to
Great.
preliminaries
Hmm.
for the detailed design. So we're working out that schedule because we're kind of doing a restart with the architect, and we can provide more details on that tomorrow. We're pretty excited about that. G.N.S. Adams Education Pavilion, it's underway. It's just moving along. The back of the museum is a big pile of dirt right now. So we did, yeah, we did learn that the structural beams that will hold up the roof, there was about a 2.5 week delay on the steel. So we're hopeful that those will be delivered next week. Once they put them in, it's a matter of pouring new concrete, putting up the railings, and installing the roof. So I think once that's done, then we'll see some fast action there.
What are you
Uh,
thinking, August?
yeah, that's what our plan is right now. So we're just going to do a soft opening when it's done. But I'd like to maybe just before the board meeting in Danville that we do a ribbon cutting here,
Mhm.
and the Chamber of Commerce said that they'll help with that. And yeah, and then it's a matter of kind of getting to work with it. So
That's
um,
great. I mean, congratulations. I mean, this is,
a long time coming.
yeah,
Uh, the update on our research and collections activities. Of course, with Nancy's retirement, we're going to start a
yeah,
new job search. So the job description will go out in August to coincide with the academic calendar.
right.
And we expect in late 2024 to bring in candidates for interview. The curators have selected to go more broadly than just hiring another mammologist.
Right.
So mammalogy can be on the table, but other taxa in the world of vertebrates is also going to be, or they're going to be considered as well. This might include a bird expert or a fish expert. So we'll see. And we'll stick to our usual kind of process of just ensuring that we get the best person available, and then we can work with their program.
As you've looked, as Nancy's retirement has sort of made its rounds to, I guess, academia and the people that she knows throughout the state and beyond. Anybody come in from the side and say, "Hey, I'd really love to come join you guys," or are you hearing any whispers? Good.
Every time we've had an opening, we've had
God,
inquiries.
that's so awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I hate to say it, though, we've never. I don't believe. Well, no, that's not true. Hayden was the only one we actually hired who did that.
Yeah.
Because for every curator we've hired, we've had people, kind of launch some inquiries at us, about, when the search is going to begin. They're very interested and everything like that. But we always go for not just the people we know, we go for the best person. In
Right.
Hayden's case, he did reach out. Of course, he's born and raised in Martinsville, but he still was the best person, most qualified person. So,
Awesome.
and Ben will give more details since Art's going to be out. He has a
Yeah.
litany of materials that he'll update the board with tomorrow. So it's all very exciting.
Yeah, I've been following the travails of Art and Cal and company.
Yeah. Yeah. Abby, Art Evans from our board of trustees is also an entomologist. So our head of entomology has joined him on a cross country jaunt that coincides with a stop at a conference, stop at several museums, and hitting some habitats to get some fresh reference material for our collections. It'll expand our collections very nicely. So
Oh,
you can follow them on
fun.
Facebook. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta follow it on if you're a Facebook person, Abby. I mean, there's all kinds of good stuff that comes out through the VMNH Facebook page, and it's not one that's bothersome. I mean, the posts are all good. There's
Yeah.
not like a lot of other social media platforms where people post a bunch of nonsense. I mean, everything that goes up there is worthy of seeing.
Yeah. Great.
Well, Zach's
Fun.
also quite expert. He knows how the algorithms work
Yeah,
and when you're supposed to post things, when you don't
yeah.
post things, and so forth. I don't claim to have that down, but he certainly does.
That's why you hire good people.
Exactly. All right. moving right along to our March 2nd friend raiser. That was the speakeasy event. I'll just say that turned out really well.
Yeah.
We planned it to make sure that we're having an impact without it being a gigantic chore for the staff. So, the caterer not only provided the food, but they provided staff to make sure that the food was taken care of at the event. So we didn't have to worry about that. Everyone worked in teams so they could work part of the event, but then go and join in and be social as well. It all worked really well. We were just working to break even, but we made a little bit of a profit. And so after this one, we're going to do it again next year. And in doing so, they got some ideas to actually increase that profit line, even though making money is not what the primary purpose of the event is. But it was great. We were so pleased. Most of the staff dressed up in period clothing, and I would say at least 60% of the guests came in period clothing.
Oh,
So
neat.
everyone just had fun. A lot of people donated to our silent auction. We made that approachable because we have a lot of young professionals, so they paid really, frankly, set for a very affordable ticket. But during the silent auction, instead of being populated almost solely by very high-end items, furniture, trips, and the like, there were a lot of items that we pre-purchased and repackaged and put into the silent auction, and we got a lot of participation. So there were a lot of people who walked out of there having got to participate and win in the silent auction, but only being out $25 or $50. But our high-end item, our highest end item, was a beach stay at a house in the Outer Banks, and that went for $1,800. So it was all good. So,
Nice. Are
yeah,
are you finding for those events, and I have only been to a few of them, but they're great. You're getting a good core of the same people coming back each time. I mean, you're getting new people too, but I mean, you're getting a core group that's equating VMNH and these events as fun things. I'm always going to do them because they're always a good time.
absolutely. We capped tickets at about 200. We still ended up selling or giving away about 225. We had a lot of people saying, "Joe, can you hook me up?"
Yeah.
So we knew it going in. So we prepared for about 225 from the very beginning, even though we said we capped it at 200. But yeah, I would say that there is a good, 50 to 75 people who are really, you can count on them to be early ticket
Hmm.
purchasers for any of our events and to participate. But there were a lot of people, we talked about it afterwards, nobody recognized, but we were very social with all of these folks. We
Yeah.
walked around and talked to them and kind of got their stories. A lot of these folks are people who have recently moved to Martinsville, so
Right.
they're recent transplants and so forth. Some of them are young professionals that maybe we knew as kids, but have remained in Martinsville and, are now young professionals. So I think it had a lot of value without it be, when we did Grapes and Grains with the model that we used to follow for our annual event fundraiser, that was a ton of work. This
Right.
was, except for maybe Robbie, because if you give Robbie a decoration budget, he's putting days of work into it, and so, but the place really looked good. The place did really look good. So, but it was just one of those things where we had a high impact without any risk, and the amount of work we put into it. I mean, all the staff got comp hours, plus I gave them a few hours of recognition leave to, say thank you for
Nice.
working on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
So
that's great. And sooner or later, you're going to start getting the politicians are going to figure out this is the place to hang out.
I wish, yeah. Yeah, our local delegation didn't show up, but Eric Phillips, our new delegate, he
Yeah.
did catch wind of it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to go next year." So once we're about ready to put the tickets out there, we might just drop him a message. Hey, you said
Yeah.
you were interested. Tickets go on sale next week. You
Yeah.
know, so see if we can get them here.
Awesome. That's great.
Incidentally, I'm sorry. There's been about 8,000 things going around. Um, I did send you an email about Jim Siebert talking to our local delegate, right? Or didn't I?
I think you did.
Yeah, this all just
Yeah, oh,
happened.
yeah. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. You told me about that.
So we basically took uh, some of the budget increases we'd like to see, things that were already packaged that just haven't received attention yet, and we gave his legislative aide that whole package. So that way, if Eric feels comfortable with it and wants to champion this, Jim says he can pull some favors, and some other folks would help back Eric up. So we're just going to see. It's in his hands right now. But we asked for about a $600,000 increase in our appropriation. So
That's
even if we already
found
get,
money, baby.
yep,
Go for it.
if it happens, yeah.
Yeah.
But so that was that was kind of out of the blue on us. But Jim was Jim Sievert is a former board member for 10 years and was board chair for 2. So born and raised here, lives up in DC. So I guess he took advantage of a impromptu meeting with our local delegate. So
Great.
see where it goes. All right.
All right. So
what I have.
what anything of consequence to talk about when it comes to Douglas Avenue?
Not really. Just we're doing due diligence over there. The big thing right now is we've got a policy in place internally because I taught the staff about what the concept of the tragedy of the commons is. So we started with Plato and worked our way up to modern day, and because all the spaces were just used very inefficiently over there, right? So it was becoming a mess. So we've come up with a policy, and yes, we did rent a dumpster. So we are kind of cleaning house over there for the items that have been stored over there since the staff abandoned the building in 2007 that hasn't moved. Yeah, I think after about 15 years, I think it's okay that we say we really don't need that stuff.
Right.
So that's more aesthetic stuff that we're working on right now. We're still set to bring on that term contractor with maintenance reserve in July.
Okay. Yeah, when I think of, and let's just sort of call this old business, when I think of Douglas Avenue and when I think of VMNH Waynesboro, and the board that really, for the most part, except, some of our more active members, for the most part, are hearing about these things 4 times a year.
Right.
And the activities are 5 to 8 to 9 years old, in terms of their timeline. And I just wonder if there's a simple way we can begin, not for this meeting, but in the future, to express, the key milestones before and the key milestones going forward, so that people can begin to see, that, you keep hearing about it, but there really has been progress, right? And I'm not sure that the full board appreciates the amount of work that staff has put into each one of these things, because, we're rehashing some of the same stuff every time, right? So
I hear you.
Reminding them of the success, is also a good thing.
Yeah. No, actually, that would be, I think, very interesting to put together because, we do have these long-term projects that, and you are right. We do here in-house see things through a different lens than, like you said, board members who might get this punctuated report,
Right.
On the last several months of work. So, yeah, we can put that together. We'll put something together and share it with you, and I would love to have your input on it.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I forgot to mention this up front, but do we actually have a quorum for tomorrow? Do we know where we are?
We double checked. We do have 8, which is a simple majority. So, and I reached out to everyone who is slated to come. Well, except for a couple that I'm pretty confident, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident. So I did get a lot of confirmations. Yeah, don't worry, we're going to be there. So
okay, good. Those are the ones you need to get. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have any need for any closed session at this point, unless somebody else does.
No.
And then, as we talked about in the beginning, our retreat. I think that I'd like to. I'm not sure where I'll bring this up. Maybe we just bring it up in the strat plan committee meeting, but I want people to recognize that as we approach the next meeting, we intend to move very rapidly through the board meeting and move straight on to the strategic planning session. So, if we need to get people on board and educated before then on a couple of things, we can do that via email communications or somehow. But we shouldn't spend more than 15, 20 minutes, I would think, maybe a half an hour on the board meeting and then move straight in, because you know how these things work, Joe. People are going to be like, oh, I really need to go early today, or
Yep.
and this is a pretty important one. So
Yeah. The only thing that we really need, we have two things that we need. Well, three things really. We should approve the previous board meetings minutes.
right,
So this upcoming board meeting, we should approve the consent agenda, which is going to basically be all the reports. We just are going to assume that people have read it and are prepared to approve it. And then lastly, it's unavoidable, is you have to do my annual evaluation.
yeah. Well, so that to me says that I think I don't want to shortchange that, because you always get shortchanged. So maybe we really look at the amount of time we're going to spend, right?
Yeah.
And if we have to go a little bit over, plus or minus, because I want to make sure that gets done properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on during your closed session. I have no idea. I don't know if you just need to set a clock so people are aware of what the time frame is.
Generally, it's a séance most of the time. So
yeah, I kind of wondered. I always saw like weird auras and funny smells coming from the boardroom. But anyway, no, um, what was I going to say?
sorry.
Yeah, I can advertise, as we start to put out the information. I have it down now as 10. I think I've even been saying to about 2:00, right? We can have a working lunch, and Latala will move us along, right?
Okay, good.
He's going to have everything set up in such a way that we have discussions and a time frame. So,
Right. And I'm going to try and contact him by email and try and have a little side discussion or whatever, just to introduce myself and have him introduce, and we can just have a chat and see.
to Latala?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a she.
Oh, I thought you said he.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't. No,
I thought
Latala.
You said he right then. I
No,
thought it was
no,
a she to begin with, but
Yeah,
I just heard you say he.
No, she's very good. I
Yeah.
think you're all going to like her very much, and like I said, she'll move things along very well.
Awesome. Okay, so that covers off the items that were on the executive committee meeting agenda for today. I don't have anything in addition. Tomorrow morning, there's only facilities meeting, right? Is that the only meeting that's
9:00? Yeah, it's going to be a very informal, just kind of update as to what's going on.
okay? Can you just shoot if is it the same link?
Hang on a second.
If not, just shoot it, because if I'm operating at that point, I will just pop into it.
Need 1 second to bring up this. Yeah, I've got it right. I got it right here, Mark.
All right, good. Will Cord
link.
Cord will be with us tomorrow?
He said he would be. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, awesome. I had one other question. Hold on a second. Oh, I wrote that down already. That's all right. I already asked you the question. That's all right. Just wanted to. I asked you about Bobby, and you've given me the details before, so I'd already written it down. So thanks. Awesome. Well, that's all I had. Abby, any words of wisdom from the Capitol?
No words. Yeah, we're good.
All right, good. All right. I don't have anything else, Joe.
No, I knew this was going to be a fairly straightforward kind
Yeah.
of review prep for tomorrow. So there's nothing I need to belabor.
Okay. Cheers. All right, everybody have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All
Thanks,
right,
Mark.
see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Abby.
Thanks for all you